Okay, we know that the Christmas season has been different this year, with Christmas markets being non-operational, and a lot of our Christmas traditions have changed in Germany because of that. So we thought we'd help you infuse a little bit of that Christmas spirit into your house by showing you a really quick apple cider recipe. It only has 4 ingredients. You only need about 4 things, kitchen tools to make it, and it's only about 4 steps. So it's a really quick and easy way to make the whole house smell like Christmas, and really fun thing to do with the kids. So let's show you what's involved. So you need 10 apples, medium-sized sweet ones. This is a Honeycrisp apple. I found these ones work the best, but you can use pretty much any sweet apple. You need half to 3/4 cup of sugar. I use just over half a cup. I don't like it quite as sweet as the original recipe. You need a tablespoon of cinnamon, and I throw in a few extra cinnamon sticks. Not mandatory, but I think they look pretty. And some ground allspice, not mandatory, but adds a little extra flavor. So that's the allspice. And about a gallon of water, enough once the apples are in the pot to cover them by about 2 inches. And that's about it for ingredients. You need a large pot to boil everything in, and once the boiling is done, you're going to need a strainer. If you have a wire mesh strainer, even better. You're going to need a vessel to strain the juice into. And then also what I had found is using a piece of cheesecloth as a second strain, going through the second time, takes out all the little extra particles, which can make the bottom of the cider a little less soupy. If you don't have cheesecloth, you can use pantyhose or something else that's got a loose weave to it. And you just strain it till it stops running water, then you rinse it and keep going. But that's really all you need to make this. And all that's required in terms of prep is washing the apples really well, removing their labels, and cutting them into quarters, just like that. So all your prep, if you're not doing it with children, is going to take you about 4 minutes. So I'm going to cut all my apples now, and then we'll come back. Okay, so all the apples are cut now. And that's pretty much the heavy lifting done. So now we're going to add the rest of the stuff. The pot's half full. It gives you an idea of the size of pot you're going to need. Dump the sugar in. Dump the spices in. And the water. We want the water to cover the apples by about 2 inches. They will sink down a bit when they cook. So it's about a gallon. And that's the most of the initial work done, other than straining it off. So now we're going to go put that on the oven or the stovetop and cover it until it boils, and the whole house is going to slowly start to smell like Christmas. So that's it now until we get to strain it and taste it. Alright, so it's been on the stove now about 20 minutes, and I believe it started to boil. So yeah, it's boiling. So we're going to give it a bit of a stir and knock down all the spices that are sitting on the top on these apples. It already smells amazing. It smells actually delicious. Just push those down. They will start to sink. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the timer for an hour. And we are going to cover it back up and just leave it alone. And the other thing, so it's been an hour, and we are going to be turning it down to a slow boil, which I've already actually done, and uncovering it and leaving it. And the whole house actually now, even though it's been covered, it smells like Christmas in here. You can smell the cinnamon, you can smell the apple, and the whole house is saturated with the smell. It's incredible. And it's only going to get better because the pot lid has come off. So now we leave this for 2 hours. 2 hours. Slow simmer, and those apples are really going to start to break down a bit. So that's it for the next couple of hours. It's prep and forget. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of methods for straining this depending on the equipment that you have. The first is assuming you have very limited equipment. Most people will have a ladle and a spoon, so you can get the juice out like this, trying not to break up the fruit. So that's one way of doing it. Another method is to take a slotted spoon and scoop out the chunks and get them out of your way. For the most part, you're not going to be able to do it without making too many breaks, and then you can put these in the chunks in the strainer afterwards to get the liquid from the chunks. We're trying to separate as much of the solids from the liquid with doing the least amount of damage to the chunks as we can, because that's what's going to make the cider grainy. You can already see the juice kind of coming off of them, and a lot of juice in the bottom of the pot. This would also be the time before you do this to add more sugar or water depending on how you want to flavor this. So let's gonna set this aside. So that's assuming you don't have one of these. This is your best option. It's a wire sieve. And if you have a wire sieve, you can quite literally dump it like that straight into your wire sieve. So some of the methods are faster than others. Some require more patience than others. So
And the other thing I mentioned in the actual written part of the recipe is if you live in a cold place, this is easier if you put it outside for half an hour. You run less risk of scalding yourself. So that's step one. You can stop at that if you want. All right, so after the initial straining process, you're going to be left with a bowl of either chunks of apple or mushed apple, depending on what straining method you used, and a bowl of juice. And you can stop there, or you can refine it even more, which I like to do because I don't like it to be grainy. And I do it as I put it into its final container. And I like these containers because they have a wide mouth, which makes the process of it easier. So I've lined a funnel with cheesecloth, and I'm just going to pour this through the cheesecloth. And eventually the cheesecloth is going to get clogged, and I'm either going to have to sort of move it to another spot, or I'm going to have to rinse it. I can see that it's slowing down. I don't know if you can see that or not. And what I'll do now is I'll just kind of move it around. And this might help you decide whether you want to strain or not strain. But right there, you can see what that cheesecloth has caught, all that fine sediment. It's almost like applesauce, which I don't really want in my cider. But if you're making it, you know, just for the smell or just for your kids, or you're not fussy, that stuff won't matter. But I don't like it. So I'm just gonna keep straining my stuff here, keep on going, and get all the funk out. So there you have it, 2 gallons about of apple cider that will keep in the fridge for a couple of weeks. So now that your cider's done, you can sit down and relax and enjoy it anytime. Just heat it up in the microwave or heat it up on the stove and enjoy the beautiful smell. It smells just like the Christmas market in your home. And maybe have a cookie with it and just enjoy the Christmas season. RTT wishes you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and safe and happy travels in 2020. Just a reminder that we will be closed until early January, but we do look forward to taking care of any travel needs or questions you might have once we reopen, and very, very confident that the new year will bring new and exciting travels for all of us. So thank you from RTT and 86 Force Support Squadron. Best wishes.